London is Olivier Guita. He's a security analyst at Global Strat. That is a geopolitical risk and security consultancy firm. And we appreciate your time. So Francois Hollande, in the immediate aftermath of this, is talking about more troops, army reserves, et cetera, et cetera. Is that going to do anything?
Not really, except reassure a little bit people. But the main question is getting human intelligence, because as we've seen, the French have, since January 2015, stopped one plot almost a month. So, you know, the issue as of now is no soft target can be secured. I mean, even if there were another 50,000 soldiers on the streets of Nice, the attack may have happened tonight. The main issue is revamping the intel agencies to the level it was in 2008, when human intelligence was the hallmark of the French security services.
So what changed?
Then President Sarkozy decided to basically change and merge different services, and that very good human intelligence agency just was scrapped. And I can tell you that they were the ones that infiltrated cells, had informers, and were doing the heavy-duty work that could have been very helpful today.
But you also said that even with all of that, sometimes things like this cannot be prevented. As terrible as that is to say, and as terrible as that is for people to hear, how do you protect against something like this?
In terms of soft targets, in a Western democracy, if you don't have the intel to arrest the person before they commit the act, if they want to do it, they will do it. I mean, people have to realize this. I mean, you can have the best president, the best forces you can imagine. You know, if you have 1,000 people coming out of the beach onto the pavement, and if somebody wants to blow himself up or herself up next to you, then they will succeed. There's no zero risk security. The main aspect that I see here that is very troubling is how that truck got into the Promenade des Anglais. That's the main, I think, flow that should not have happened. We've seen in the past this modus operandi was called for by Adnani, the spokesman of Islamic State, in September 2014, basically pushing his followers in the West to use cars as weapons and ram and kill as many infidels as possible. And as he said, and I quote, and hit the filthy French. So that's one of the things that has happened, and that security services were aware of that modus operandi. I mean, there's no way that they were not, especially in light of the fact that there were 4 attacks that didn't injure a lot of people in the past 18 months using cars in France.
Mr. Guita, it's the bottom of the hour, so this is a good time for us to get our viewers up to speed on what has happened, and I do want to continue the conversation with you, so if you could just stay close. What has happened as a truck drove into a crowd of people who were celebrating Bastille Day in Nice. What you see there is the truck that inflicted all of this carnage. We know that at least 80 people were killed in this attack, many of them children. No one has claimed responsibility. There's the truck there. Officials are also saying that there was ammunition, there were grenades in the truck. The driver of the truck was killed in a shootout with police. Again, no one has claimed responsibility. We have heard from the French President Francois Hollande, who has called on army reserves to boost security. Also, there's a state of emergency that was supposed to expire July 26. That has been extended for at least another 3 months. That's what we know right now. So if we can return to the conversation with security analyst Olivier Guita. So whoever's responsible for this, groups like this, assuming it's a group, my apologies, we don't know, but let's just say that police get to the bottom of this. Whoever carried out something like this, can they just adapt?
Look, a couple of things. I mean, they had received intel, the European security services, that Islamic State would try to attack the south of France, Italy and Spain over the summer, targeting beaches in particular in a redux of the attack in Sousse in Tunisia. So Nice as a target was there. The fact that nothing happened at the Euro was a big sigh of relief for security services, but I would put to you that the cells that were supposed to attack the Euro were basically dismantled during the November attacks in Paris, but also and especially the Brussels attack in March, because we know that Salah Abdeslam and others, including Abrini, had talked about attacking the Euro. But obviously Bastille Day was, in the mind of French security services, the next best thing for jihadists to attack.
How do you suss out, though, what threats are real? Isn't there constant traffic talking about inflicting damage?
Yes, but unfortunately, the main issue that we have at this point is not the number of maximum threats or believing or not believing the bluff. The problem is that with groups such as Al-Qaeda and Islamic State, they usually say what they do. They usually do what they say, sorry. They're not like our politicians. They are basically sticking to the scenario. And so once again, we've seen that they've targeted France and they've targeted soft targets. And they want, as you mentioned earlier on, to make it as much spread out, if you will, in terms of time span between attacks, so that the public can go back to their daily lives and have a false sense of security, if you will. And if you look at, we had one attack in January 2015, then 9 months later the November attacks, and now another 8 months with the attack today. So it's almost the same time span. But I think at the same time, what you're getting at with, in terms of the number of threats they have to look at, is really how overwhelmed the security services are. I mean, I can tell you that they can get to, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10% of the amount of information they get, because they don't have enough analysts, they don't even have enough people on the ground that can follow all the potential terrorists. And every day they are thanking whoever that nothing happened. I mean, that's how bad the situation is. And it's not only in France. All countries in the West are overstretched in terms of the number of security officers they have compared to the threat that we've seen multiply drastically in the past 2 years.
Olivier Guita, thank you for your contribution to this conversation. People